Hello, welcome to a random... We should have done this as a bad preface. That would have been a good idea. I just didn't even realise just then. Welcome to a random live with me and Brian. Brian's put this suggestion forward because of people's confusion between CMEs and EMPs and stuff like that. How you doing this evening, Brian?
Yeah, good, mate. Mate, they're all bad. I hate to tell you, they're all bad prep shows. We've yet to do a good one.
Well, I just meant, it's going out on your channel as well, so it would have been a more apt intro, but never mind. We don't want to get banned for another intro. This is the problem. Hopefully I can stay alive tonight. Do you think Mike is going to open with "We're all doomed"? No, we're not all doomed. Don't worry. No doom and gloom here. I did get somebody have a go at me on the last video I put out saying I was a fearmonger, and I took a leaf from Brian's book. I just banned him.
Just block him. Fuck him.
I just did, yeah. Because I clearly wasn't fear-mongering. This is for you guys tonight. Any questions you've got, stuff like that, regarding CMEs, not just random, what's your shoe size kind of stuff, but, regarding any CMEs, EMPs, blah, 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 all of that. With that
Andy
said, go on.
I was going to say, Andy did put that question about that strange rash around about the groin area had. I don't know. I think penicillin would probably work.
I've told him just to send the pictures over to Hawkins. He's the expert when it comes to crotch rashes. So
that's true.
So
he's quite the connoisseur.
You can't have that many Thailand hookers without coming across something, so.
I see what you did there. Yes. But
why are we talking about this? So why we're talking about this is I will show you why we're talking about this. We've had 2 X1s thereabouts and 1 X5. Here's the X5 in action. I didn't. It's there. It is. It's at the very start. It's the very start. Yeah, sorry. It's the very start. But you can see the little flares afterwards, even the M-class ones. But that crackle. I've been doing this for a while, and even when we had them big ones that caused them northern lights last time, I've never seen that crackle across the sun like that. And someone had posted on the Discord the shock wave it produced using a different instrument to measure.
Whoa. There's a lot of power.
That's why it crackled all across the sun. I mean, luckily, the sun's still there. It didn't create a black hole or anything crazy like that. But yeah, am I fear-mongering, Brian, by telling people just to keep your eyes out and, check your preps, and I've gone and topped my diesel up? Am I overreacting?
No. But let's flip it round, right? Say they don't cannibalise. What the worst case scenario for you? You've got a tank of diesel that you're going to need anyway to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
If people are checking on their preps, all they're doing is doing an extra maintenance cycle on shit they should be doing anyway to check it's working, it's charged or whatever. Well, apart from you, but it's charged and it's in good working order and it's good to go. So there's no bad things in any of this. In fact, it's a good drill. Even if nothing happens, it's a good drill to go over, all right, what was a CME again? What's the difference between that and an EMP? Is there anything different I need to do? Because we all forget. None of us know everything.
Yeah, and I've not done solar monitoring for ages, because it's been all quite mild, so... I give people heads up on that, so even I forget sometimes. Got a couple of questions in there. First, there's a comment off Justin. Justin used to join me all the time when I did solar monitoring. Hello, welcome back, Justin. That's why he's got a spanner. I think he was one of the first mods, but the X5.16 solar flare was Earth-facing and will likely give a G4, G5 storm on its own. Mm-hmm. The problem we've got is there's 2 X1s before that. An X1 alone can give you a G1, G2 storm. So you got 2 of them and then this on top. And as it comes across, it all joins up, bang. And it's one big hit. So we don't know till it hits how intense this storm's going to be. which is the worrying side of it. So the reason it's a worry is because it can affect our power grid, right? EMPs are man-made. It's electromagnetic pulse. It will affect everything. It will affect... This won't come back on after an EMP concentrated over your kind of area. Although it's similar effects, it's only on a grand scale on the grid because it requires the aerials and the masts to capture the signal. The aerial's not big enough in this to capture
it. It's attenuation.
Yeah. So people saying, I'm going to go and throw my phone into the microwave at 6 o'clock in the morning. Don't do that unless you want to cook your phone for some reason. Funnily enough, if your microwave's plugged in, you're more likely to see your phone set on fire inside the microwave than you are to save it from anything. So my new walkie-talkies that Kane just bought me off my Amazon wish list will be perfectly fine. So
where's my radios, Kane? Where's my radios?
Big thank you. You need to put a wish list together, Brian. You can put underwear on there and everything.
Why would you think you mean underwear? What made you say that? Are you harbouring those dark urges again? That's really bad.
It's been a while. I'm lonely.
Yeah, I think I'll be sleeping with the light on.
Wait till we're on that island with Alan.
It's only gay for pushback.
Do a Pepsi versus Coke stream, all the weird things you can come up with them. I can't do that stream because I've got a confession.
More than one, but it sounds it.
That's cherry Pepsi.
I don't even drink that shit.
I didn't purchase it.
That's a sign your missus really hates you.
Canadian Mike, there you go. I know buying me Pepsi, she definitely does. I see FP was live saying we're all doomed. Yeah, but that's probably because squirrels are going to take over our brains, not an CME. Would you be okay if surrounded by Pepsi cans? Would you survive the CME or X9 flare? I mean, you will survive it anyway. It's not going to irradiate or flame you. Listen, get Nicolas Cage film Knowing out of your head where the flame reaches Earth. It's not what we're talking about. Do you want to go a bit, Brian, and tell them what a CME is, essentially?
So what you've got, let's keep it dead simple. The sun has had a pluke on its face and it's just burst, right? So all that ionized pus is heading for the mirror of the Earth. So all joking aside, you've got a lot of energy has just been splattered into space in the form of plasma that's heading our way. Once it hits the atmosphere, it'll be looking for a path to ground. And any attenuation it can find, you'll get a lot of high voltage DC current looking, it's got enough oomph to push it right along the wires. Now, the difference between an EMP and that, it doesn't need an attenuation source. There's the energy propagation through the atmosphere is different and it's more likely to fry digital circuitry. If this is your microwave in the house, the best thing to mitigate the effects of CME is just that. Mm-hmm. It's not Faraday cage. It's simply doing that will solve most of the problems of a CME. The big problems will arise in the super transformers and things because it does not play nice with transformers at all. Yeah, if it's bad enough and it hits the right ones at the right time, we could be in the dark by areas or worst case nationally, depending on what goes into fault. Either nothing will happen, which is probably likely, or it might put fault conditions on it'll make the grid unstable. At least.
So our grid, according to some sources on the internet, Brian, is much more hardened to things like this than many others.
Right. Okay. So let me put it this way. Spain, France and Portugal it pisses about with the stability of the grid by trying the best way to put this. It'll put the transformers into fault. So you'll have frequency loss, which might cause a cascade problem in other ones falling offline, which might cause fault conditions and problems in other ones by doing that alone. If they can switch things quickly enough, then there's not going to be a problem, but it still might fry the transformers, whether they are small ones the size of your car or ones the size of your street. Just to put it in perspective, if it's one of the super transformers that went, we would be months for a replacement if they had it. They just moved one in Yorkshire. It was 200 tons.
Right.
To move bridges and everything, shut streets, move cars. It took months to plan it, and to move it in bits.
And that's planning. That's planning while we've got electricity.
Yeah,
but the plan there is while we've got power. Surely, even if you say 3 months to put back on, they're going to be contending with a lot more issues going on, though, right?
And the other thing to bear in mind is that we're prepared in as much as if you imagine train points on a railway line and switching things about, they have got the ability to switch over from lines, say, transformers, power stations, things that have went offline. So they can control things and mitigate damage or shut things down in a controlled fashion. The problem would be the speed of this thing hitting the earth. It will jump a lot of fault protection.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very good chance that because of the power surging through the lines, some of the protection in place, it could bypass that and just jump right across it. Yeah. So there's a lot of problems of what it could do, but it's all speculative because it's never actually happened to a great extent. To a modern society, as it were.
So somebody asked before about the Carrington event. I think I starred that there. The Carrington event is something 223. Thank you very much, Dios, for 223. Really appreciate it. He always does numbers that are relevant to certain things.
Freedom Seeds.
Freedom Seeds, that's the ones. What was the X5 Earth facing, and X5 equates to what versus Carrington? Right, so this is open. Well, exactly. This is open to speculation. The only thing we had from Carrington is to know how low down the auroras went, a scientist's sketch of the holes he could see, and whatever was half documented at the time. So to say, oh, it was definitely an X45 is completely pull that number out your hat. I've heard as low as X20 it could have been, which I very well believe that could affect it, because we don't know if there was smaller ones before, smaller ones after. We didn't have satellites monitoring it like we do now. We don't know if the Carrington event was one after the other. It could have been 3 X5s that built up together. I'll show you quickly what I mean by the cannibal CME, because I've got the thing up here. I'll try to upload the image. Yeah, so there we go. So you'll see this timeline. It'll keep looping because it is a GIF. Can I zoom in a bit more? There we go. You can see the peak here when it hits Earth, the plasma density. And you see that's the first wave. And then the second wave catches up just in time as it hits the Earth's atmosphere, the ionosphere. And this is even more following up there. So this is the risk, because it feeds this. Now, what usually happens is that CME comes across as it's getting close to us, it's getting weaker, and then it's absorbed, and it actually charges the magnetosphere. It's actually a good thing for us in small doses, but this is not a small dose. So, and there's no way to estimate. You can't just say X1 plus X5 equals X6. There's no way to estimate how much this cannibal will do when it comes to an actual storm. So we've come here to tell you we've no information.
It's more or less to try and put your mind at ease that you're not wasting your time by unplugging your TV tonight. You're not wasting your time by disconnecting MC4 connectors out your solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
if you can, as they go into the hybrid controller. These are not a waste of time because it'll only take you 2 minutes tomorrow, assuming, which they probably will be, all sunshine and lollipops, to just plug your toaster back in and plug your washing machine or your solar cables, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
No
takes you
harm,
2
no
minutes.
foul, right?
Yeah.
Like me and my
But-
diesel. I didn't want to spend
exactly.
that extra 20 odd quid on diesel, but it was going to be done at some point anyway, so why not?
Exactly. So if you're checking your preps, it's no waste of time. If you're unplugging a toaster, to be honest, unplugging appliances at night is probably a good practice to get into. But tonight, it's a really good practice to get into because of the potential. Potentially, nothing will happen. But if it does, and you've done this, you'll mitigate the chance of a fire or component damage to the appliance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So surely it's worth taking the time just to unplug that TV, unplug the toaster, the light, whatever it is. If you go to bed and you read with a light, here's an idea. Just take one of your torches that you've charged, stick that on at the side of the bedside table and unplug that lamp just for tonight. It's not going to kill you. Stick a torch on.
Charge everything beforehand. Get everything on charge now as well. A good habit to get into, trust me.
Oh, the irony. But no, you're right.
I've charged all my power banks, all my small ones. I don't have like the eco flows and stuff like that, but I have charged all my small power banks and stuff like that because everything is a leg up. And what's the worst that can happen? Oh no, it doesn't happen. Everything's still charged. I get to use them.
If nothing happens, you've got a bit more awareness on history regarding the Carrington event. You've got a bit of practice in dealing with something that might go wrong because electrical problems could be caused by bad weather, right? So getting your ducks in a row, charged or whatever, this is a multi-use practice prep run that does you no harm, right?
Mm-hmm.
An hour, 5 minutes of your time, whatever you spend tonight doing it, it's not wasted, is it?
Yeah. For people's reference, the Carrington event was 1859. That's the reason we didn't have satellites monitoring this. That's why when somebody tells you it was exactly an X45, you've got to really take that with a pinch of salt. We have no idea, like I said before. That's the reason why. What I do have here...
Atmospherics will have an impact on this as well, Mike, if it's damp, moist air as well. If there's a lot of particulate matter in it and things, something will enhance the energy's ability to track through the atmosphere. So a nice cool dry way would be better for us rather than a wet moist one. Giggity.
Giggity. There was a comparison on here and it's gone. Where's it gone? Right. Sorry, I had an image saved, but realised that was on my work computer. So I'll use this as a reference. There we go. Save that image. It's not letting me save images.
See, as a rule of thumb, to make it easy for people, see if it's a CME related event, unplug all the things. See if it's an EMP related event, wrap all the things. So
right.
Get them in a Faraday cage.
So let me show people here. Okay. I just wanted to show people a quick comparison. No, I don't. It's decided to crash everything on my computer. What is going on? 2 seconds. Technical difficulties.
Did you charge it, Mike?
No, it's my computer has stopped computing. And I don't.
You really need to shut down Pornhub. While you're doing that, did you see India and Pakistan have kicked off tonight as well?
Yes. It's been on the slow burn since the last kickoff, but it's not actually them, but it's the Taliban. But they're saying that the Indians paid the Taliban to do it, and it just sounds like, here's an excuse, let's do this. But I don't know why they would want to go to war. Pakistan can't afford a war, and every time they try it, India's a much more proficient army. So I'm not taking sides, but they'll just. Yeah, it's not going to work very well out for them. I can't do anything. I can't click on anything.
You just worry that you get a glow-in-the-dark coupon from either side and it ends in problems.
Well, yeah, this is the problem you've got where... If you can still see me. This is the problem you've got when it's a place like that you don't know how nuts they might go. Oh, sod it, I'm just going to press this big red button. And they're so close to each other, there's no time for intercept. Oh my God, I have got something. I think my computer is dying. I can't even see the StreamYard anymore.
Oh dear, you're still there. We can still see
I'm
you.
still
So
here. I'm just going to talk to the camera and pretend I can see you and hope I can. So basically, I was trying to show you a comparison because if you want to Google this yourself, you can do a comparison with the Carrington drawing, the scale, and the current sunspot. The current sunspot is larger. So that's the only evidence we've got is to compare the two. So technically, it's larger. Whether it's a larger emission or not, we don't know because we'll never actually know. Like I say, Carrington could have been 3 or 4 back-to-back ones that cannibalized. So there you go. I can see the questions now, but I can't click on them. Go on.
On you go, mate.
I was just going to say, I've seen Snapdragon says, will internet be affected, radio channels, etc.?
Highly likely.
Do you want to answer that while I try and rescue something on my PC?
Radio definitely will be affected. To what extent, it just depends. But radio, whenever you see even an X1 or lower, you tend to see a lot of problems in the Pacific. You'll see HF radio down in such and such an area. And it looks huge. When you show it the map, it's a massive area. So, yeah, radio will be affected. It will probably have a potential effect on the satellites. This might affect your internet speeds. I think the key takeaway and the whole point of tonight coming on for the time that we're on is to just say, look, 90% of any worst case scenarios that you're likely to get can be mitigated by just unplugging it. Okay? That's the best advice and the best take home out of anything tonight. Make sure you've got your fire extinguishers, make sure you've got your fire blankets, all that good stuff. Have a quick check, make sure they're there, they're clean, they're ready to go, you know where everything is. You've got a torch if you need it nearby, and if the worst happens, then you can put out a small electrical fire, right? So your firefighting kit's there, your fire evacuation plan if you need it, you know what that is. The kids know, right, you come to mum and dad's room, we get out the back door, front door, whatever it is. So you have a quick talk with them about that. And chances are, this is going to be nothing other than a practice run for a potential fire, which everybody should know what to do anyway. A quick check of your fire extinguishers, which you should be doing anyway. And a wee bit of preventive maintenance in the worst case by pulling out appliance plugs. You don't need to be running out getting a trash can and lining it with cardboard and swearing for a few hours like I do. You don't need to do that. So, yeah.
You still need to publish them outtakes.
Oh, you would have thought of Tourette's that day.
But, I mean, it's worth noting as well, with a lot of these modern houses, the fire alarms are on the mains. So they do have a backup battery in a lot of them. So make sure that's something you test regular, because the chances are if this does affect us, the power's going to go before the fires actually start burning, as it were, before it actually comes through. So make sure your fire alarm is going to wake you if you're not up at 5:30 in the morning already.
Somebody just mentioned, can we not just switch off at the main board? Okay. So if you're talking about switching off prior to the consumer unit before the distribution board comes in, yeah, you could. However, if there was enough energy coming through the line, it might jump it. Probably the best example to give you with this is a lead acid battery in a camper van and a lithium battery in a camper van. You put a 250 amp fuse in the line for both. The lead acid one, if it goes, right, if you get a catastrophic short, it'll pop that fuse and it'll protect the circuit and your van won't go on fire. If you've got a lithium battery, right, sorry, a LiPo4 battery, it's not lithium, LiPo4, if the same fault condition occurs, you've got a dead short, all that energy dumping will just jump that gap like that. It'll jump it. There's enough power in there to jump the air gap. This is the same. The problem with that amount of power coming through the electricity lines and then down to your house is there's potentially enough to beat your fault protection systems. So MCBs, RCDs, that kind of stuff, it could jump, right? If there's enough power.
What if they've got one of those EMP boxes? That'll negate it, right?
Yeah. That I will listen. If somebody can show me one of them working, right? Somebody we know it working, I'll get my back shaved for charity, and that'll make your leg look like a picnic because I'm like a barely evolved monkey. They're snake oil. I remain to be disproved, right?
Hawkins has one.
That's not a high bar.
He's the communications and high voltage expert, right?
He is, and he knows his stuff. I would never belittle him or tease him in that way. We'll tease one another mercilessly anyway in a good way, but he knows his stuff. But these things, a block that size with a little blinking LED, no, that amount of power, no, sorry. Yeah. It'll literally jump a freaking fuse that size. No.
Sensible question from Philip Hull. Will you miss Sunday Lives if everyone has no power? Yes. There will be no tube.
Well, we could link up with Starlink, Phil, and we could do a small one. Yeah. Phil's got Starlink up.
We only accept super chats in gold and silver coins.
So if anybody's got any worries,
super chats, speaking of super chats, I can't click on it, but Dios sent 556 as well. Thank you very much, Dios.
762 was a better cartridge.
Yeah. Yeah, think of the biggest one. Where's my 20 mil?
A bit more poke. More poke.
Yeah. Will the internet be affected? We had that one. What thing would you miss most if we all went back to the Stone Age? This.
Go, mate. You go first.
I've just said this.
That's
the community, okay. The access to everything here, the access to the knowledge base, the network, everything like that. That's the only thing I'd miss. My job and other people, I could take them and leave them. It's fine.
I don't want to go down the horror story path. I would miss my life because chances are if it was that bad, I would lose it in pretty short order. That is so unlikely to happen tonight, guys. I don't want him to. The whole point of giving this time up tonight is so that you aren't worrying yourself sick over something that might happen, right? Chances are it'll be worst case with this level, if it doesn't get any worse, maybe some isolated power disruptions, comms, traffic, internet, that sort of stuff.
Satellites.
Please don't go to bed worrying yourself sick or stay up all night aiming a fire extinguisher at the plug. Right? But take some precautions. Nobody's perfect. We don't know. There could be something that attenuates it, makes it worse, or it might come to nothing. But a couple of simple preps and go to bed, right? Unplug the lamp, stick your torch on or something. It's good practice if the lights go out. This is just a practice run for something.
So people are aware, my biggest worry, if I can, let me turn the brightness down so you can actually see it. I can't put it on the screen because my computer's not working right now. But these two first spikes are the X1s, and this larger one is the X5. The distance between them two is how it's caught up cannibalized wise. So my worry when I put that warning out was in the next 4 to 6 hours after that.
Yeah.
If a larger one, it has to be larger, otherwise it just won't catch it up. A larger one would have then caught up to that and made it catastrophic. That hasn't happened up until this point. And we are probably, we'll pass the 6 hour mark sort of thing. So I doubt, unless it was epically large and super fast, which could still happen, but that's very unlikely. I think we're in for a pretty light show if you've got no cloud cover.
Agreed. I agree with that. And what people should bear in mind is that a bad CME has happened before. It will happen again. I can't tell you, or Mike can't tell you when that'll ever be, if it'll even be in our lifetimes, but it will happen.
It's if you go down the rabbit hole like I did, I think Dior said the same thing. It's the reason he started prepping more serious. When you go down a lot of rabbit holes, you get a lot of people, potentially like me, other YouTubers, telling you evidence that they know of because they know a guy, everyone knows the third guy in the balcony and all of this lot. If you go down this rabbit hole, you get Harvard studies, Oxford studies, you get scientists, you get professors, you get NASA telling you this, that it will happen at some point. We had an X-40 in 2003, wasn't Earth facing. That would have been devastating.
Yep.
And that would have been so quick that there's no, we can't just unplug the nation, wait for it to hit, plug it back in. Wouldn't have had time. I don't know, Brian. I don't know if you know. What would the manual shutdown time be on power stations?
Depends what it is. I mean, ultimately a power station is only converting high pressure steam to turn a stator, turn a turbine. It's just the manner in which it generates the heat to do that, whether it's nuclear, gas-fired, coal-fired and oil-fired. Ultimately, the principle's the same. It's a large kettle. So how quickly you can pull or put the control rods on for a nuclear one, how quickly you can vent steam and depressure it and slow everything down, that's not really the problem. The problem isn't going to be power stations. The problem will be the transmission system. That's going to be the problem. The problem will be all those lines that supply power conveniently to cities, homes, factories. Those same power lines will quite happily transmit induced current from the atmosphere, and that would be the big problem. And an X-40 earth facing hitting us, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
No. Well, I would, because it'd be the last thing I'd be doing to warn you all. But it wouldn't be monetized because there wouldn't be any point.
There would be lights off. To what extent and how well would be protected? Think it this way: the more complicated we make shit, the harder it is to fix it, and the easier it is to break it. That's been a lesson from life.
I got a question before on the Discord, I believe. Would the government warn us?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Well, what would it achieve? Because they're the same boat as us. They're speculating. The difference is they'll have people in white coats telling them, we're pretty fucked here. Things are going to be in a panic, but they might only have 5 or 6 hours to do something about it. 5 or 6 hours to deploy everybody, even if all the British Army was available, isn't it really going to be...
It's okay. This is just
feedback.
Yeah, sorry, go and carry on.
Even if they had time to deploy every troop in the UK, it would be lipstick in a pig. It wouldn't make any difference to mitigate that sort of problem. And all their comms gear would be smoked anyway. And then how they're going to recharge it once the batteries go down in their PRCs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I've done that just so I can control the stream.
No, it's fine. I thought somebody was coming on there.
No. It's just so I can actually press buttons.
I'm
Otherwise,
cynical. I don't think they
this
would
would be
tell
the
us.
never-ending stream. Otherwise,
Think about it. Why would they tell you? Because if they caused mass panic for a non-event that they largely couldn't mitigate prior to it happening anyway, there's no risk versus the reward. There isn't any, in my opinion. I'll put it this way: I wouldn't tell you, because you could probably cause mass panic, looting, rioting, and all sorts of shit for something at the last minute. It might not happen, or might not be as bad as you thought it was going to be. And if it was as bad as you thought it was going to be, there's fuck all you can do about it anyway.
yeah.
So, on the balance of probability, do nothing.
Yeah. Mel Sibley said, "How long does it take to travel from the sun to Earth?" That is a range. It depends on the power it's ejected at, obviously. It can be as little as 4 or 6 hours for something quite powerful. Generally, with smaller ones, it's a day or two. So this one emitted the X5 at 11 a.m., I believe, between 10 and 11 a.m., and it's going to hit at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So, yeah, that's under 24 hours, so enough time to get on and say we're all doomed, but I'm not going to do that unless I know for sure.
Can I just add something on about something we were talking about the other night? There was a bit of confusion after Sunday's live over Starlink and whether it would work if there was a large scale power outage in the UK. Only the UK. It would still work, because it would work kind of like a mesh system, as in they've got laser links in the satellites, and they would bounce off and go. Yes, they still would need a ground control station for the cables, but they would just bounce to Belgium, the Netherlands, France, Ireland if it's got it. They would bounce to the nearest ground control station to fire it into the DNS servers and shit. So yes, it would work if it was isolated to the UK, even if it was total grid down blackout for us.
Right. There you go. Marty said, "Can you explain the Carrington thing again for us simpletons, please?" It's hard to explain because we don't fully know. Like I say, it could have been a cannibal CME, it could have been a huge emission, it could have been X10, it could have been X100. We've no idea. 1858, 1856, can't remember what it was now.
Does it mean what happened? Or what
happened? The cause is what we're talking about now. It's a solar flare with a CME. What happened at the time, the only electric there was telegraph wires, right? So that's the only thing that was anything similar to what we have as power lines, as phone lines and stuff like that, was telegraph wires, nothing else. No smartphones, no TVs. What a crazy time. Maybe the odd DeLorean parked up in a shed, but other than that, there was no other power. And what happened was different things happened in different areas. The effects were a multitude of effects. So in places, there were reports of operators of the telegraph getting shocked and actually thrown off the chair. There was wires that burst into flames. In places, there was telegraph points going on their own without anyone touching them. So like it was just having this surge and it was tapping itself, sending some sort of message to whatever. It was different effects on different things in different areas. But the devastation caused this today would be an order of magnitude, just with reliance on it. So yeah, I hope that explains the Carrington event a bit better. It was the scientist who observed it and drew the sketch of the sunspot that he could see through filtered lenses. He was called Carrington, and that's why it's named after him. But all we've got to go on is the sketch of the sunspots, which we don't know how accurate that is. Yet again, he did put measurements on. That's why we can scale it against current sunspots, and auroras, because there was places in Spain and France where it was nighttime and they thought it was daytime. They thought the sun had come out. That's how bright it was, the auroras in them places.
That's a lot of power. It's a lot of plasma.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, it's a photographer's wet dream, but he won't be able to upload them afterwards. Hope that helps. Question: what time do you unplug before 3 a.m.? I mean, If you're awake, yeah, sure. I mean,
When you go to bed,
before you go to bed, generally, there's no lead up effects. We expect it based on models, never 100% accurate. Please bear that in mind. We expect it between 5:30 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. So that's kind of the based on the models, that's when we expect it. So yeah, just try and make sure you've unplugged stuff anyway. It's a good practice. Would you unplug the fridge freezer? Says Philip. He's just trying to poke the bear. If you want to, if you think the risk is that high, personally, right now, because we haven't had a follow up after that X5, I won't be unplugging my fridge freezer. I will be waking up with an alarm at 5:30 because if there is a fire, I'd rather be conscious when that happens.
Phil's got a power bank, right? So what you could do, Phil, is if you were genuinely worried about that as a thing for your fridge freezer, unplug your fridge freezer, plug in your power bank. Your power bank will be fine because it's independent for the grid, and that will keep things going. That's you eliminated another potential fire source if you wanted to. I'll not be unplugging my fridge freezer anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if I suddenly come online in an hour's time saying there's been an X20, unplug your fridge. But Brian Keane says, will it work to turn the switch off on the plug?
Just take the plug out. It could jump the switch. Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, we're talking about not your regular 230, 240 volts coming through here. We're talking like big
thousands.
Numbers. Yeah. And I think the isolation between a plug and the device is only what?
It's about 10, 15 millimeters. It's only a little 13 amp fuse, if that. There's very little protection in that. It's only for a cable cut.
Yeah.
Your primary protection will be the RCDs at the board if you've got them.
Cool. There you go. Question: unplug things or just switch them off at the wall? That's answered. The same one there. Purple. Yeah. Unplug. What time is impact estimated? I've just answered that anyway. So thank you for that. So Guardian's just emphasising there in 1860, the solar flare eradicated telegraph systems. It happens in our modern world. Goodbye, several countries' power grids. Yep. I don't think anyone's. The thing is, our grid, the way it's designed, is more hardy to stuff like this than, say, some deep South American town in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that are running off really old cables and stuff like that. But
apart from the Bewley-Denny line, most of the transmission infrastructure in the UK was put in the 60s.
Yeah, but it's still, what I'm saying is it's still more hardened than a lot of places, but I don't think it's to the degree we're talking about. I wouldn't put any trust in any of that because it's all been done theoretically.
I've got no faith in their maintenance. The reason that the fire at Heathrow started was because they ignored their own maintenance regimes, didn't repair the glands on the transformer, didn't have any firewalls between them, they were too close together, and then they had water build up in the oil. So I've not got a lot of faith in existing maintenance regimes for kit that should have been replaced decades ago. See the ones that have got the old transmission cables you're talking about, they might even be better off than somebody with a new line, because if the cable was to melt or fall apart because the pulse catches fire, right, that would be better than allowing it to get from point A to point B and blowing up a super transformer.
Yeah. Willow Tree asked a good question. Can you switch it off at the circuit breaker if you can't reach a plug behind like a heavy washing machine, for example?
You could, but probably it'd jump that anyway.
Yeah. Your best option here with this one, like I say, we both are of the thought path now. Hopefully we get a really pretty light show, right? That's where we're both at right now on this. So just to be clear, if it was something bigger, if we have a follow-up, etc., if you can't unplug it, be awake when it happens. All right? set your alarm like me at R5. Just be awake. You know, if nothing happens, go back to bed.
The main reason me and Mike are on tonight on a school night is so that you're not worrying yourself sick tonight over all the other stuff you're getting bombarded with. That is basically it. This is a practice run. It's belt and braces for something that probably won't be an issue for any of us. Please take that away. Do not sit tonight worrying about your toaster catching fire. Just take some reasonable precautions. It's a dummy fire run. It's practice for your lights going out. It's a lot of little practices. The chances of it happening are very, very small, but there's enough there that we're spending time to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Dios's 556 donation. I'll read it out because I can't put it on the screen still. My truck is plugged into a battery maintainer float charger, so I guess I should go ahead and unplug the maintainer and plug it into the battery bank. If it was the case, if we believed it was an actual threat, then yes, it would be the same sort of thing. Anything attached to the mains, basically, guys. It's as simple as that. Anything attached to the mains. If you've got power banks, use them as backups, as reserves. Brilliant, perfect. Anything that's attached to the grid.
Just don't forget, you're trying to save the appliance. There's nothing you can do unless you were to, I'm not even going to say it in case somebody does something stupid. There's nothing you can do from the house infrastructure back. All you can do is protect appliances and reduce fire risks by unplugging it. That's it. Don't do anything crazy with your switchboard. Don't be pissing about with any of the RCDs, breaker switches. Or anything. Please don't do anything silly, guys.
Yeah, qualified electricians only. In Ukraine versus Russia, who do you think would benefit most from a CME? Neither. Phil, come on. He's the one, isn't he? He's the one that asks the questions. I'm just trying to... I'm well behind, guys. Sorry, I am catching up. I'm going to scroll quickly. Dios put a 308 in there. Thank you, Dios. You really don't have to keep donating, but a 308 in there this time. Brit Texans, anyone? Mike, Brian, want to join? Dios is willing to start the Brit Texans and we all move over there.
Get me my plane ticket. I'll see if I can take... things with me.
Things. You can buy new things, less blocked things. Grey Man Prepping Gil has become a member of the channel. Thank you very much, Gil. Really appreciate you. Long time no see, buddy. Dios has a question for Brian. I keep my truck plugged into a battery maintainer. Yeah, so we just said that. Yeah. Should I plug it into a lithium-ion power bank? Yeah.
If you can isolate it for the mains, belt and braces tonight, it might not be worst idea if it's not going to cause you any problems. To be honest.
Yeah. Better safe than sorry, as we always say. Are homes with overhead supply more at risk? Yes, from, as I said, telegraph wires burst into flames. So there's a chance of damage to the point of the connectors on your power cables. If that gets damaged, that's dropping, right? That can literally come off. So there is risk there. Go on.
Generally, you'll only get that in for domestics. You generally only get that in really old houses in the countryside, where it'll be from a pole to the house.
Yeah.
Anything modern will be underneath. It'll be ground, and then your tails will come up into the consumer unit.
I think. There's a lot of semi-urban areas that have the main masts not going into the house, but just running over. Yeah. I know where they're over the top of play parks and stuff like that, because you saw all the protests in the 90s. Oh, it's giving me brain cancer. They're all still alive.
Any pylons. if something like this, a bad thing happened, right, and you had the towers and all the isolators and everything falling apart and cables dropping down, there's nothing you can do. It would happen so quick. You're not going to it's not like a Wile E. Coyote and you're jumping out the way, right? It would be over. So, but don't be sitting up tonight worrying about this. This is just a belt and braces precaution. The chances of something catastrophic happening are not that high, but they're high enough that we might want to take some reasonable precautions. Reasonable. reasonable.
Yeah, that's why my video, it was about just topping up my fuel, checking on my preps. I wasn't going out maxing out credit cards and going on a spending spree and stuff like this and shooting my neighbours. It was just, trying to keep it sensible. Any excuse.
This has gone so dark. First of all, you're imagining me in my underpants, then you're shooting the neighbours.
No, I like that side. It's the other side. What latex preps would you recommend for prep in a severe EMP/CME event? I mean, so if we're talking about prepping,
things.
Yeah, if we're talking, let's say the most extreme scenario in this. It's weird because the most extreme scenario, direct impact, would be EMP because it affects all electronics. However, the most severe impact globally would be CME because it wouldn't be as isolated as an EMP would be. So, I mean, even with an EMP, if it was detonated over the UK sort of thing, there'll be parts of the world that are unaffected that could still send aid to the UK. There's still going to be sort of supply lines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, I already prep low tech. It's how I started prepping because simple budgets, right? We always say prep to your means and we all prep differently. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. You're just getting a bit more prepared. And I've always prepped to my means, and I've got antique drills. I've got hand drills, hand tools, stuff like that. Basically, think 1860s, apart from the telegraph, and you're all right. Don't install a telegraph if you're prepping that way.
The more complicated it is, the easier it is to break, the harder it is to fix. If we had a bad CME event, and I don't want to really talk about bad stuff, but if we did, the power's going out and it's not coming back. That's it. If it was that bad, like an extreme CME event, we'll all be low tech eventually. No matter how many power banks I've got surrounding me, no matter how much shit I've bought, at some point, it's back to the Stone Age for everybody. And it ain't coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're not there yet.
We're not there. And Brian's still got his throne of EcoFlows. And you can get an EcoFlow. They're only $3.90 at the moment. Bargain. Brian Keane question, which is a good one. I think you might relate to this one, Brian. My air source heat pump can't be plugged out. There's an outside switch beside it, the big red type that you turn.
Yeah, rotary switch.
What would you do in that situation?
Nothing. Leave it alone. Tonight, leave it alone.
Yours will be if it's an extreme event, is that a risk?
You could turn it off and hope it doesn't jump it. Hope. You could, but I mean, realistically, it'll find a path to anyway through the pipes, right? There's copper pipes leading from that all the way through your house. There'll be copper pipes that've got earth points on them throughout your house. The chances of getting away scot-free are not that great. My worry with the heat pump would be the refrigerant in it, because it'll be R6. Basically, it's propane, right? If the heat, but a lot of people don't really know that, but a lot of the heat pumps have got propane in them. And if there was something really bad happened in your home and the heat pump catches fire, it's going boom.
Yeah.
And it's only a meter away from the outside wall. So, but I digress. Don't disconnect it. It'll go to either a subboard inside the house or into your main board, depending on how they fitted it. There's nothing you will be doing tonight. Put it that way. Leave it alone. If you are familiar enough with electrics and comfortable enough, and it was a 20 or a 40 coming, then you might want to disconnect it. But like I said, the chances of achieving much aren't that great because it's copper pipes going off through the house, and they'll probably be earth bonded somewhere anyway. So,
on that front, the NOAA, which is the one that diagrammed the cannibal and told us the impact time, says KP8 G4 solar storm are highly possible tonight and tomorrow. That's from Gil from Greyman Prepping. Thank you, Gil. What that means for us in layman's terms is potentially northern lights as low down as we had last time in the Midlands, stuff like that. So hopefully you've got clear skies and you're up early and you get to enjoy that. I'm going to try, but I've got enough ambient light for it to be daytime at midnight round here. So it's unlikely. Brian now sounds like Scotty from the USS Enterprise, says Mark's Adventures.
I don't think Scotty swore as much as me. Can you imagine that
Don't
episode of
have
Star
the
Trek?
power.
The engines are fucked, Captain. Like, totally fucked.
Yeah, this is after the watershed. Star Trek. Okay. I'll only watch an after the watershed Star Trek if 7 of 9's in it. Anyway, we digress again. Miss Worm says, why would we be back to the Stone Age? We'd still have the knowledge, etc. We'd just have to wait and rebuild it, surely, maybe 10 or 20 years, but it wouldn't be forever.
Do you want to explain that one?
Well, I want to say my point of view on this, right? And the issue is people. Okay? It's the unprepared, panicking people that's going to cause the biggest issues. It's the fact that we've got our head in the sand so much as a nation, as a government, as a general body of people that's going to cause the bigger issue. It might take 10 years to get us back to the level we're at if everyone was working and everyone was concentrating, everyone was working together and it was peace, love and harmony. The reason it worked in the 1800s is because we'd built up to that for 1800 years. All right. And we developed technology. We're now at a point where we're going to take a generation that relies on this 200 years back. There's going to be panic. There's going to be disorder. There's going to be violence. There's going to be civil unrest. The government's not going to be able to maintain control. If you're a police, military person, anything like that, you're not going to be out there doing the government's will. You're going to be back trying to protect your own family. At what point is everyone going to stop, get along and start that work? If ever.
I'll put my spin on that, which is more or less the same. What we've got to mind is the difference between the 1800s when the Carrington event hit and now. There is literally billions more people on the planet. And most of them are de-skilled by how our technological path has evolved. People have got their own skill set for their own niche, and we're a service society. You might well be an electrician. You might be comfortable doing stuff in your home, but there's no power coming through. All the key links to make modern society work will break, and they're not coming back. Most studies tend to point that between 60 and 90%, depending on who you believe, of all the population of the planet will be gone within 3 months. We could not feed the populace. We've got no distribution network. We've got no storage. Farming would go overnight. It's gone. Poof, gone. Mm-hmm. Nobody farms with a horse, right, and a plough anymore. It's large industrialized scale. It's large industrialized storage, right? All of this has got a supply chain. All of this has got a technological niche. You've got the mechanic for the combine harvesters. That's all he does. It's all niche. It's all interconnected and it's all easily broken. And when it breaks, it ain't coming back.
Every little bit, even like the supply chain, like you're on about logistics, we don't have loads of horse and carts on standby ready to move stuff around the country, ready to move grain to the city. There's going to be a huge percentage of the population that try and remain in cities. There's also going to be a mass migration of people going out to the country and trying to scavenge resources they've no clue how to get, how to butcher, how to use proficiently, and they have no idea about sustainable living on that. They would eat the horses. But they would eat everything. They wouldn't eat 70% and leave 30% to repopulate and grow. It would just all be gone.
I don't want to end on that because all people will remember tonight is
it's doom.
Oh no, it's all bad. That's just answering a specific worst case question, right? Please don't think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Dior said, what time is CME supposed to hit Earth? Greenwich Mean Time. I'm trying to base time zones. It's 6 a.m. So UTC, if you want to base it off that. UTC, 6 a.m. With China's help to rebuild, would they screw us? Yes. Thank you, Phil. Another Phil question.
Phil, if you haven't read it, go read 1 second after.
Great series. Yeah. Going to be a film soon as well, if you know.
Is it?
Survive.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's in post-production.
Oh, fantastic. I hope they don't ruin the book.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's it called? I can't remember the guy. I'll figure it out after. I'll send you a message. But there's a guy in it who was in. There was another series where the power all goes out. I can't
Mm.
remember the name now.
That was the one with the little
Evolution or
nanites.
Evolution or Evolution. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the same guy anyway. So, Great Man Prepping. How many people know how to milk cows, goats, know how to dress cows, deer, goats, pigs? Exactly. But they'll still try. You'll get the people that think, I've seen enough movies. I'm going to go and slot that pig with my Bear Grylls knife. And now I'm going to, and it should magically turn into bacon like it does on Minecraft. Oh no, it's not happened. What do I do now?
I've tainted all the meat because I've cut through the bowel.
Yeah. I've just poisoned to kill my family. Natural selection is going to be a real thing after this.
And that is a problem. That, backtracking slightly, Miss Worm's question, just to kind of hammer this home, we spoke about Transformers in Yorkshire
Revolution.
earlier.
Thank you, Willow.
Revolution.
Revolution. Yeah.
That was the one that released all the nanites to cut the power and heal the guy.
The main guy in that is going to be the main guy from the book.
The coloured chap?
No, the professory guy.
Right.
That started as an alcoholic. Yeah. So there you go. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, Miss Worm, that a 200-ton transformer is such a huge exercise in logistics, and you're talking anything up to a year to build it. And we've got something like 36 transformers, 36,000 in the UK. Not all that scale. The big ones, I mean, there's not that many like that, but we're talking years. There's like a 5-year backlog to build them, and a lot of the ones that were built and kept for storage, and there wasn't many of them, there's been supply sent to Ukraine all over, from all over the world, and I would be amazed if we haven't sent a lot, because we've sent all the bloody tanks. So, but anyway, that's worst case. That's not where we are.
No, I was just going to put this on screen if it lets me. There we go. UK mechanic. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yep. 100%.
When I put my warning out, I wasn't trying to scare people. It was a what if this could potentially happen, and we were waiting on a timescale to see if anything followed it up. There is still an outside chance of that. If there's a huge X ridiculous number in the next like 4 or 5 hours, then maybe, but unlikely.
Consider tonight a worthwhile going over of the potential pitfalls of CME, a brief overview about EMPs, key differences, a bit of fire safety, and good practice in unplugging appliances at night time. There's nothing bad about this. It's to settle people's nerves, not to turn you into a bag of nerves, right? That's the whole point of tonight. It's the only point.
Yeah. Grey Man Prepping said, how many know about pressure can, water bath, dehydrate, smoked meat, salt meat, jerky meat, and ways to preserve food? Yeah. No, not that kind of jerky meat.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah, no, he's right. And I've done videos on salting meat and stuff like that in very simple ways. Please look at history books, stuff like that. Gil also said about, do you want me to come up? Gil, we would, but I don't think we're going to be on much longer at all. It was just a last minute thing to come on. So
if anybody's not checked out Gil's channel, Grey Man Prepping, he's a really nice guy and a lot of good content.
Go and check him out. Hopefully Miss Worms is in there. She can pop the link in there. If issues arise with power and no power in shoes, what products would you buy with cash from the shops first? Food, water.
Food.
Listen, don't go out getting bulletproof vests and giant blades and claymores and just food and water. Food and water, guys.
How many times have we brought that up just since that guy stabbed people a week ago on Friday?
Yeah.
It's normal to get upset and panicking about things and worry. You can't eat Kevlar, and ballistic plates don't chew that well. They're the last thing in your preps in the UK, not the first thing. Buy food, water, torches, normal stuff that you'll rotate and use. Body armour's your last thing. You don't need to be running about with Kevlar on the tube train.
Yeah. please. You know, just because we do it doesn't mean you have to. Right. I think. Are we about done? I think on there. There's not many questions coming through here. We're just going to end up repeating ourselves a lot. People can watch things on the replay. I don't think I've got anything else to add. I don't need a CME. My computer's already died. I've lost the Windows icon. Everything's frozen. Everything's not responding. Somehow the stream's still going. I don't know.
Oh dear.
So I best hope I can actually do everything via my phone here to end it anyway. So
it's the CME, mate. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Could it affect cars, says James Ridley? No. Unless you've got an electric car plugged in at the mains. But no, it's like we said at the start, it's based on like technically think of it as an antenna size, right? So size of your antenna in your phone, size of what an antenna could be on your car, etc. like that. It needs to be power cables, huge power cables, things like that. So Grey Man Prepping is going to go live in a few minutes.
Woohoo.
And you know, I might go and join him because my missus has gone to sleep. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Grey Man's prepping channel. If he's having guests on, I'll go and join him over there shortly. So come and speak to me on there. If Brian's missus has gone to sleep, he might come over.
The dark side.
The dark side. Right, okay. Any final thoughts? I'm just trying to queue up the button here because it's this big on my phone.
You're fine, mate. Just thanks for tuning in. It's been an hour. We've repeated a lot of it, but the key takeaway is that this is entirely precautionary. It looks like it's not going to come to anything, but the potential was enough to make it worthwhile going over the whys, the differences, the good practice, and just jog all our memories about things that we probably know, but let's just reinforce them in case it does get a bit worse. That's it. No panic. There's no reason to panic. Don't disconnect. You know, don't get near the distribution boards for the love of fuck. Stay away from the electricity cupboard.
Right. That's his goodbye. Now I will say, panic! It's coming! It's on its way tonight! Unplug everything! We're doomed!
He's went full on Funky Mikey.
We're so doomed. Please donate now to my PayPal.
You can't spend it now anyway.
No, in all seriousness, Brian's 100% right. Let's not panic. I genuinely will. It'll be my last action with electricity. If something like an X40, X30, I keep monitoring all the time, as long as the computer holds out, happens, I will jump on, I'll do a live, I'll tell you really quickly, and you take that however you want. I won't monetize that stream because I'll never see it, but I will try and do that, and I've always said that since day one, so don't panic. We will see you all for a Preppers Fireside on Sunday because we will still have power. All good. Thanks to Miss Worm for posting all them links, and she posted my PayPal. It was a joke, Miss Worm. She's on the ball. Evil Girl, all my moderators, thank you very much for being here. Really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for Guardian Prepping and all our other friends from Shadow Scout Swedes channel popping in, and our American friends. You're all awesome, and we'll see you all in another one soon.
Players, guys.